Assalamu alaikum and greetings to one and all present here. Today's seminar uh, is on the topic Managing Your Business Interest Free by Dr. Ismail Sait. As we all understand that Brother Ismail Sait is a very known personality in the field of Islamic banking and finance, basically in interest-free banking solutions. So just to give you a brief about Dr. Ismail Sait, he is an MBA and PhD and a director of Manamuna Center for Interest-Free Business and Finance. He's also in the advisory and assistance in interest-free business practices. His educational background, he's a BCom from Jamal Muhammad College, Tirchi, MBA from PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore, and PhD in Management of Interest-Free Bank at Jamal Institute of Management. He's also a trustee and correspondent in the Green Park Matriculation School since 2002, trustee in United Welfare Medical Foundation Hospital Project at Dindigul, treasury in OMIAT, Organization for Muslim Education Institutions in Tamil Nadu, and also the executive member of TISWA, Tamil Nadu Islamic Schools Welfare Association. As we all understand, this event is being conducted by IKLAS IAS Academy. I request you all to enjoy the session and please post your questions in the Q&A segment, which is mentioned on top. Yesterday, we had a lot of people mentioning questions in the chat box. I would request you to mention the Q&A, the questions which you have in the Q&A box, which is mentioned on top in your respective screens. Jazakallah khairan. I would request you to enjoy the session. Brother Ismail Sait, handing over to you. Hello. Walaikum assalam. Brother, your voice is not clear.
Gibran, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. There was a small break with your initial.
Okay. Now, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible. It is visible.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everyone present here. Firstly, let me join everyone in praying for the entire community and all the brothers and sisters globally who are going through tough times. So first, it's our duty to remember everyone and pray for them. Coming to the very good topic that has been selected by the organizers, business calm. Firstly, I should thank all the organizers. In my intern, which I shared with Brother Zibran, I did forget to mention that I'm also the secretary of IKLAS IAS Academy, one of the organizers. So all the other organizers, I'm very thankful that you have taken this initiative, particularly the brothers who are keenly involved in ensuring that during this time, it should be beneficial to our brothers who are in business and who are in other fields of their profession. Now, a little about what we do in Manama Center for Interest-Free Business and Finance. Basically, three areas is our folk: interest-free business and Islamic finance practices, establishing and managing schools, and ethical consultancy for business. When you say about all these consultancy, I have to give you a very clear information that we are not doing this for any fees or any consideration. It is purely for the service to whoever they need. Now, this was started in 2008, and Mufti Rizvi was very much instrumental in starting this. He's the Sharia board member of Amana Investments in Sri Lanka. So since 2008, we have been involved in conducting seminars, lectures, and academic programs in interest-free business and finance. Subsequently, counseling and professional guidance to individuals and business was one of the important areas we are focusing till now. The business who are willing to come out of riba-based or interest-based debt. We provide them guidance and assistance. Not much in terms of the financial assistance because that's of limited supply. So what we focus is how they can by themselves restructure their financial practices and come out of this interest-based debt. As I mentioned, we are doing this all for your prayers and dua. A little about myself, because how I came into this. Pre-2000, I was very much involved in a interest-based business environment. You know, we are a family who are in leather and textile since 1932. But most, I wouldn't say most of our transactions, at least to a substantial level, with bank transaction. I'm trying to give you this information and confession is the process that I underwent, so which could be of use to the others also. And Yawar Beg, another important personality whom I should mention and ask all of us to pray for him for his wonderful service that he is rendering. There was a question that I asked him, and it is in the subsequent slide, which is, I call it my life question. And of course, I did mention about Rizvi Mufti, whose acquaintance since 96 changed my perception about business and revenue generation. I did took my initial training programs in Sri Lanka. Subsequently, in 2010, completed my PhD in interest-free banking. And the theme that we have is live riba free, or that's the caption. Yeah, what is the question I asked Yawar Beg? Because it's also relevant to our presentation today. It was in '97 that he came to Chennai for a program to inaugurate an institute called Learning Institute for Excellence. I think I mentioned, Learning Institute for Excellence. That's the life center that he came to inaugurate. The question I asked him is, I'm a third generation entrepreneur involved in leather business, doing a turnover of 9 to 10 crores, and having a bank loan at that time of 75 lakhs. This is the question I asked him in '97. And the last part of the question was, how do I do this business interest-free? His answer changed my perception and my life. He replied, MashaAllah, you are not asking a question, rather imposing or explaining your following conditions. Condition 1, being proud of being a third generation entrepreneur. Condition 2, want to be in leather business. Condition 3, should be doing a turnover of minimum 9 to 10 crores. Condition 4, need an investment of minimum 75 lakhs. And condition 5, how do I do this leather business interest-free? He said, these are not questions, they are conditions. And he told me, if you remove all these conditions and ask yourself a simple question, how do I do an interest-free business? And you will get plenty of options. And that was the life-changing statement for me. Now, coming to today's topic, manage your business interest-free. Now, I'm trying to be very clear, of course, some presentation content would be also calling it Islamic banking, but I'm very clear that interest-free is the focus. How do you stay away from debt-based or interest-based debt funding, and how still you could get your business done? So the background, we all know, post the present lockdown, we still had a huge financial crisis that we were carrying forward after the post-global crisis. We have every other day NPA advertisements, which I'll also just show that for us to know what it is. Because we read generally the other contents in the newspapers, since myself and few of us are involved in this field, we focus on the NPAs just in case to know how they have come to become an NPA and how we could help them. So most of the business is in trouble. Right guidance is lacking. Deeply immersed in worldly affairs. And of course, everybody's peace is in pieces. Unfortunately, we are searching for the solution in the wrong place. Now, before again going into the main part, I want to share some useful readings that can help you. These are also part of
Sir, just
the
sorry
course
to
of
interrupt.
my.
So sorry to interrupt. Just a suggestion. While
Yes.
you're changing the slides, I would request you to pause for a second or two, because while you're changing the slides, your voice gets lagged a little bit.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll do
sir.
that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So these are some of the useful readings that can help related to the topic that we are talking. Judgment on interest. And next is a book called Sense and Nonsense. Another important book, Risk and Halal Earnings. And of course, Yawar Beg's books and videos are of great help. There's an interesting book I read called City Smart, a study of communities and business practices in India. Then you could check Darul Ifta website for useful readings relevant to this interest-free business practices. Another important person of mention is Mr. Tini Phillips, who's from Kerala, who advises businesses on how they could do it without increasing their debt. Key points to focus. Interest-based economy is debt-based and greed-based economy. With the limited time, I would be focusing on the key points. Inshallah, I will try to answer if there are relevant questions in that. Otherwise, in future also, you could get in touch with me. So interest-based economy is debt-based and greed-based, whereas an interest-free economy is asset-based and need-based. We all know interest is one of the main causes for most of the countries getting into their economic turmoil. And as mentioned earlier, the non-performing assets of banks are man-made disasters and not in any way economics related. It is purely out of an individual greed that he either gets into a large amount of debt with the bank and then subsequently increases, and one fine morning he finds his business is not doing well and his account is categorized in NPA, and then he starts blaming everyone other than himself. Now, we always say Reserve Bank of India has not permitted us to do an interest-free business. RBI regulations are not a reason for us to involve in riba. We all predominantly follow the Quran and Hadith, which clearly says is one of the biggest sin is interest giving and taking, and even the person who is a witness to it and someone who even writes the accounts. What is the need of the hour? Where can we start? An interest-free business networking. I understand the organizers have also a topic on networking, but I'm just trying to add the word interest-free business networking. Once we network, we start to speak on this platform, a lot of ideas get shared and a lot of solutions can come by the grace of Almighty. Brother Gibran, in case you want to send me anything, note, my WhatsApp is there.
Sure, I will do that, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, just to mention to all the attendees, we would like to have the video available, but since there is a network lag or a weak network in Dindigul, because Brother Ismail Sait is in Dindigul, so we are not going ahead with the video currently. It will be only an audio and a slide presentation today, inshallah.
So, coming back to NPAs that I said in everyday's newspapers, you would see something similar to this advertisements. Even if you open, I don't know for the last 2 weeks how it has been, since not much of activities took place. But prior to the lockdown, if you open any Indian Express or any magazines, newspapers, you will see such contents, possession notice. So these are business units getting sick. I've just taken a random, I have a huge database of them in each in each publication. This is the book I was referring, Sense and Nonsense. Quite interesting, though it is a little academic in nature, but as you of this, he's actually a retired banker, Mohammed Saif. He was in Bank of Bikaner before it became a State Bank group. And then he writes about the interest-based system and the interest-free system and how interest-free system is the successful system. But in this book, he highlights two important points, which is my point of explanation today. Now, this one, this is about how a product, when it comes to the customer or to the end user, how many stages does it cross? And where in each stage, what is the price increase that take place? And in the constituents of that price, what is interest and profit factor? I'm not going into the details again. It is there in the book. So you could order and see for yourself. But the summary is this one. If the frying pan is the product that the retailer is using, the basic raw material for that would be iron ore, which is most of the products, basic raw material would be a nature-based raw material, where Almighty is given to everyone's use for free. But then there is, of course, a cost to access it and make a product out of it. We don't deny it. But in each cost, in each stage, there is a regular overheads, which is fixed and variable in nature. Then there is an interest component, and then there is a profit component. This is the conventional system. There is an interest component and there is a profit component. So a product, the frying pan, from the iron ore, it goes to a pig iron. From there, from 212, it goes to 451 rupees. Then it becomes stainless steel, where 451 rupees becomes 951 rupees, and then becomes SS sheets, and then finally it becomes a product and it comes to the end user. Now, as I said, with the 10% interest factor alone, only with the 10 to 12% interest factor, the price phenomenally increased. That's there in the next slide. What we normally say is, let's say 12 to 14 or 15% interest is what the bank charges. But if you get into this interest-based financial working, very interesting and very alarming. End of the tenure, let's say 10 years or 5 years or whatever tenure, we assume that we are every year paying a fixed rate of return. No, it is not the case. We would, if you get into the breakup of that working, if it is a 12% to 13% rate of interest, unfortunately, we would be paying not less than a minimum of twice the amount to sometimes as high as 200 to 300%. People could argue at this stage, but let me answer it in my Q&A later. Now, some of the important advice for every businessman, we all know that we follow the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah. So a lot of lessons for every businessman, for every trader, for every professional, it is given, and we have a lot of, from the prophets to the Sahabas, we have lessons to learn from them. When we talk about the greed and need factor, because this, most of the time I would be coming back to this issue, because this is the root cause of most of the problems that we are facing. So, how do you control greed? That again, individual's decision would increase it, or even it can close it. It can decision of buying XY product I'm not going to do today. Let me postpone is something that I can take instantly. Or I could decide, no, let me go to my online banking, to the sites and buy the product. But what is the need and greed factor in that? But everyone, we are human, so this is the point that Prophet ﷺ says, if a son of Adam owns 2 valleys of gold, he would strive for having a third one. not knowing it is nothing more than a dust. But this is human nature. But still, how do we control that? Going back to the advisors is where we can really find these solutions. These are general points. I'm just skipping some dua, which I will share this slide, which I hope everyone would get it. So you could use that, inshallah. Now, where is the banking in Islam? This is what we know. Islam, we have Aqidah, Sharia, Akhlaq, we have Ibadah, Muamalat, and under Muamalat, we have political, economical, and social, and in economic, we have banking and financial activities. Now, just an example of how an Islamic bank operation works. So you have an Islamic bank, you have the shareholders. Shareholders invest in the bank. There are, in this case, I've taken one product called Mudaraba. So a Mudaraba investment, the share investment is returned by way of Mudaraba investment, and the shareholder gets ownership and profit. Now, staying here, if you look at the conventional system, a depositor invests in the bank's shares or in the fixed deposit, predominantly the fixed deposits, and then the bank would lend the money to the business for interest. The business returns with the interest. The bank takes its profits and pays the depositor a fixed rate of interest. Whereas here it is a variable in nature, not just variable, but again the investment criteria also differs. So it's more of a profit and loss based system. So what are the products that are there? Though little Arabic and technical, not much of difficulty. Murabaha is most a cost plus finance, which is like our hire purchase. Musharaka is very similar to a partnership. Mudaraba is more an entrepreneur is given an investment and he then gives profit. Ijara is leasing. Salam and istisna or another different types of farming, agricultural financing, which is salam, and istisna is another product. Only one product I'll just take for time constraints. Musharaka, which I said is a partnership. It means a joint enterprise wherein all partners share the profit and loss of the joint venture as per the agreed ratio. You have two partners who join into a project. The partner 1 and 2 could contribute in variable amounts. Then you have the business and it accrues profit. See, the profits can be shared as agreed, because you have partner 1 who could be a working partner, partner 2 who could be a dormant sleeping partner. Their investment could vary. The investment of partner 1 could be low, partner 2 could be high, but the profit sharing, it can be agreed that partner 1 who has invested less can take more profits. But when it comes to loss, it can only be as per the invested ratios, invested amount proportions. So these are certain important rulings where it has a reason for that, and how it is practiced, how it is practically feasible, all that is prevailing. Now, whenever I talk about the subject, one common scenario that situation I face is, the questions I face is, this is more theoretical, is it practical? Everything is practical, alhamdulillah. Now, though this is part of the presentation, due to time constraint, I'm not getting into it. These are certain Sharia principles on the investments and how the criteria of that. Now, I have to add another personality who's very much an important person in the field of interest-free business, Islamic finance, and Islamic insurance. That's Dr. Sharik Nisa. So he sent me to share a couple of important points. So in the financial system, our financial system, you have financial markets, financial products, which most of us would know. You have the financial instruments, markets, financial participants, financial regulators, financial services. Little complicated, but end of the day, all these are the constituents of financial system. This slide is again concerned with the need and greed factor. We all know the global disparity of wealth. So 1% owns 10% or 70% of the wealth. These are known information. Again, I'm skipping this. These are technical terms, but the crux of this is the Islamic banking and finance can be used in different nomenclatures in different countries, such as ethical finance, interest-free finance, special finance, Sharia finance, Islamic finance, profit loss finance, etc. But they all talk about prohibition of interest and other harmful practices. Other than the interest or riba or the different terms that are in use, what is not good for an individual or the society or is also a factor to be considered. So as Islamic finance mainly focuses on avoiding riba, which is interest, gharar, which is more of uncertainty or misconception or lack of transparency, maisir and khimar, which is speculation and gambling, and anything that is unlawful, unethical, or harmful. So these financial transactions or these businesses are to be avoided. Now, the conventional finance system, you have a bank which has, as I said earlier, fixed rate of interest and which is prohibited for us. What is the alternative? We have Islamic banking concepts. And you have gharar, maisir, riba. These issues in this major issues are there in most of the financial products around us. It is there in the insurance, it is there in the mutual funds, it is there in our regular investments mostly. So other than the interest, as I said, there is a lack of transparency factor, there is a speculation, gambling factor. So what is the alternative? There are available, it could be few, but it is coming up. This Islamic takaful and other smaller products are in the upcoming. Islamic capital markets helps us to invest in the Sharia compliant stocks. And in the stocks issue, one has to go through, one has to evaluate if they have interest-based business. Are they trading in the risks? Is there speculation, short selling, etc.? Now, this is again more just for information, the constituents of the financial system. So I have to skip a couple of slides with your permission because I have 10 minutes more and then I will take questions. This is the evolution of some of the institutions in India. This talks about more till now. From the early months, we call then cooperative, multi-state, credit cooperative societies, Muslim fund, in different names. We have Sagulat, we have Al Khair, they all come under multi-state credit cooperative societies. On top is what is given in the violet colors are all the institutions that are providing support and assistance in the terms of academic work. When it talks about academic work, Sharia guidance, do's and don'ts in business, and there are institutions, colleges which are offering programs. Non-profit oriented institutions, profit oriented institutions, to name a few which are in the orange color, Janseva, Rehbar, Mount Judy. They are all working in this field of providing alternative to the conventional system. Now here I want to give a very clear information. See, firstly, I'm not promoting any institution. Secondly, I'm not vouching that all these institutions whose names I just mentioned are 100% Sharia compliant. Thirdly, I'm not asking you to invest there. Let me be very clear. But what I'm trying to bring to our participants information is these are works over the years under the present tough circumstances or the conventional banking circumstances, what best could be achieved is being attempted. So we need to first pray for these people who have this good intention. But again, each organization would have their own Sharia board, which I presume they have. So they would have taken opinion. So in case we have any doubt about any product of any institution, is best is we approach them with hikmah, sit with them, talk to them, because we have certain very unfortunate failures in this field also. Apart from all these academic, non-profit, profit-oriented institutions, we have big corporates who are also trying to venture into this field, like Tata Ethika Fund, Reliance as a fund, Bajaj is working, and you have the stock market, BSC, who was given a Sharia index. All that, lot of work is happening. The point is, a lot of work is taking place around us. So for us, our responsibility is know that and also first gain knowledge about that and try to be part of that in whatever way possible. Now again, in Reserve Bank, our Rakib Saab has been working very hard in lobbying with the financial regulators, along with Sharik Saab and a lot of other people, in taking the concept of interest-free banking and Islamic banking and asking the government to consider. We were very close in the previous Raghuram Rajan when he was with the Manmohan Singh government as the economic advisor. We were very close to launching a NBFC which was purely interest-free. But unfortunately, we couldn't achieve that. But Alhamdulillah, there should be something good, so which we have to accept. So these are different committees which are formed for different purposes. Sorry, I'm just skipping some slides. These are what I mentioned in that previous slide, the different organizations that are following interest-based and Sharia-compliant investment practices. Again, this is the repetition of the same. One other organization, Rehbar, I'm not going into the details because of time constraints. You could check their website, which is rehbar.co.in. They have different products. So how they are working on that, how they are calculating their investments, their profits. Best is we approach them and we know from them. Though I'm one of the directors representing Tamil Nadu, again, it's a service-based support we give. We are not paid anything. Why I'm trying to get back to this point is just the concept that we are trying to promote, alternative to the conventional interest-based system. So that is the effort we are all involved in. So this is how Rehbar has a product wherein they take the investors' fund as debentures and invest in business, and they would give profits. But the profits would not be termed as profits, it would be debenture returns. So technically it could be different. Sorry, I'm just skipping some of the slides because these I have covered earlier. Some more technical information on that. This is the Sharia board of Rehbar. Likewise, every organization would have a Sharia board, would have the directors board. See, all these directors here, none of them are taking any financial consideration. That's the point to be mentioned here. We have very good minds working, but we are all doing it honorary to promote the concept. and seriously facilitating investment and business. This is a working model for one of their products. Now coming to the last 3 months, everything starts by the grace of Almighty. So we need to pray, we need to seek knowledge, we need to work with the knowledge gained. And when I say seed, it is investment. Once we invest and agree for the profit and loss based returns, and inshallah, when we have the resources, then we, as we all agree, we need to first give in terms of sadaqah and charity, and again end of the day with the prayer. What could we do at the individual level? There are 2 slides, Brother Gibran, and I will come to the close. This is what is important. Because most of my business friends whom I have met and individuals, people would come to me asking for the alternative from the existing banking system, or mostly they would be in the bank-based loans and debt-based in high debt, and how to come out. First is the intention, first is the prayer. With the real intention, when we pray that we need to come out of riba at the earliest possible in whatever means that is available. There are cases when there is option available, but we don't want to use that option. An example is when I met a friend, he had substantial investment available to close the debt, but he didn't want to touch that. He said, without disturbing that, how do I raise funds? Nobody will give us funds. When we can solve the problem on our own, which is the first step. So in whatever manner possible, coming out of riba should be the priority. So it has to be on a war footing manner. Bring change in our attitude towards income generation and in spending. Imagine you are a lender if you are a borrower, and you are a borrower if you are a lender. Imagine you are a lender if you are a borrower, and if you are a borrower, if you are a borrower, sorry, if you are a borrower, if you are a lender. Sorry, the point here is we should go into the shoes of the other person. When I am giving investment, I have to look into the businessman's issues. So it's the opposite. That is the way to find the solution. At the business level, create right foundation in your business, which will be from riba, gharar, maisir and gambling. Volunteer to share your profits with your investors. Create and be a part of an interest-free business club or networking. Do a regular Sharia audit for your business and identify and eliminate non-Sharia activities immediately. Choose a business even if it's margins or less but benefits to the society more. Be interested in business without interest but with interest. Jazakallah khair. I did have to rush it to get into the time and take as much of questions possible. I wouldn't have covered the topic in full because the topic by its nature itself was.
Jazakallah khairan, Ismail Bhai. It was indeed a very enlightening session from you in regards with the interest-free solutions and principles to grow the business. As we all understand that these seminars are meant to bring us out of the usual routine which we have created in this lockdown and help us bounce back strong in our business routine or our respective work lives. And alhamdulillah, it is very prominent, and it's seen that Brother Ismail Sait has given the necessary boost to the people who have attended the session. May Allah reward you for your knowledge, and may Allah preserve you. In regards with questions, brother, we do have around 24 questions, alhamdulillah, quite a bit, and mashallah, quite interesting questions as well. So bismillah, we will start. We'll try to see how much justice we can do, inshallah, in the given time we have. So the first question is, Assalamu alaikum. I have started a solar
Brother Gibran?
and hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Brother Gibran? Can you hear me? Brother Gibran?
Brother Ismail Sait, we can hear you well. Brother
Okay.
Zubran, we're not in touch with Zubran. Zubran, are you there?
No, I have the questions in front of me, so I will answer them. I don't want Brother Gibran to read, so it might take time.
Okay. Also, please, please stop your screen sharing, so it will take bandwidth. We can stop there.
Yeah, I think I have stopped it.
Yeah.
Is it stopped?
Yeah, it has stopped.
Okay, fine. Yeah, the first question is, I have started a solar energy company and really confused how to pitch investor for our startup. Please help me with it. Brother, do share your project, because I would like to see it for me to really advise, inshallah. Next question is, we did a business of meat export, Mudaraba basis, telling them not to export to Iraq, but they did it. Now their payment is stuck there, and now we are asking our capital back almost 1 year. Now they are not paying almost 1 year after our withdrawal request. What we can do in this case? We can charge any delay and penalty. Unless and until you have a proper agreement to charge any delay or penalty, again, charging that has a basis in as per Sharia. But unless until you have a very clear agreement, you could not use it at this time of when there is a risk happened. I think we need to take that risk and sort out another means. Just clarifying again, unless you have a very clear policy for the penalties for the delay, it could not be done. And again, there are certain rules for that. Would investing in share markets come under Kimmer? Let's see, Kimmer and all these things. In share market, there are many practices which are unfortunately having riba, having Mysore, gambling and speculation. So that needs case-to-case review. If you have, you can share with me, and I will, as I mentioned, Dr. Sharik Nisar is an authority in this field. He would be able to guide us on a specific case-to-case issue. This particular company, this particular transaction. So if we can have such a clarity, the reply could be better. Can you tell me more about finance system and agriculture? See, there is one product which I highlighted called Salam. Salam is a forward booking concept in agriculture, where the investment is given earlier for a produce that could happen after a particular time-bound harvest, or it could be 3 months or 6 months. So that is one of the product. But in agriculture, if it is a regular business of buying and selling, that it can come under musharaka type or mudaraba type transaction. So alhamdulillah, there are solutions available for that as well. Are CDCs allowed in Islamic financial system? Brother, if you could clarify what is CDC, CDS, just in case my knowledge is limited in that. I'll go to the next question. Khalid is going to. Okay. In Mudaraba mode, can the working partner can take some monthly minimum salary or no? No, he cannot take the salary, unfortunately, because the profit share he could take as agreed with the Rabal Mal. Rabal Mal is the investor, so he cannot take the salary. Mohiddin Abdul Qadir, please share the slides if possible. Yeah, I will surely share it post this Q&A. Do we have any good online course on Islamic banking? A lot of material is available. I refer to Darul Ifta Mufti Taqi Usmani, who is the Sharia board head of most of the Islamic banking organizations. So there are a lot of reading materials. And of course, today it is in plenty. You have a lot of scholars who have structured sessions in this subject, which could be of use to you, inshallah. Yeah, I will send the slides, inshallah, for reference. Halal ways of investment, brother, I have just said the many options that are available with my very clear disclaimer, because I want to make sure that the disclaimer is heard well, and I'm repeating it. I'm not promoting any organization. I've just brought to your knowledge the options available. And I know with some of these organizations, their working models, they are really working hard. They are really trying their best to follow the Sharia principles. But in some cases, there could be errors and mismanagement. Allah should help them to overcome that. But in some cases, there is a genuine reason why they are not able to follow Sharia principles. So with good intention, you could talk to them and find the best suitable person. We have a pharmaceutical manufacturing and marketing company. This is a private limited company, 5.5 years. Due to lack of funding, we could not expand. What is your suggestion to raise funds in halal way? We are very much maintaining 100. MashaAllah. First, for you maintaining this halal funding without going into the bank, Allah's help will surely come, brother. And you say you are debt free, so that is again another big effort that you have taken. Patience and perseverance is something that we need to follow here. But alhamdulillah, with your project, I mean, I could connect you to Rehbar or other forums wherein they could review this proposal and find suitable investors. But it would take some time and, as I said, patience and perseverance, inshallah. But you will surely get the right funding that you are you're looking for. I'm a retailer. There is a liquidity crunch in business for the past few years, and present business. It's gone up. Screen, yeah. Business are forcing us to go to astaghfirullah, na'udhu billah. Brother, come what may, please take a resolve that you are not going to the bank. You are not going to interest-based transactions. These are situations where we are tested. These are sometimes traps that we might be pulled. Please take a strong resolve, come what may. I'm not going to go to a bank. I'm not going to go to an interest-based debt. So even if it means my business would go through some very tough times, I think Allah's help will come more during that time. This lockdown itself is a lesson for everyone. Nobody thought of it, but we are, alhamdulillah, we are living through it. And with the grace of Almighty, we will overcome that. Is there any option to get home loan without interest? Unfortunately, no, brother. For now, in the present system, we don't have any structured institutions that give home loans. But there could be some financing models, investment models that could be customized. If you know the investor and he's willing to, but that's a different product working by itself. Is there an option? Okay. What is the minimum investment in Rehbar? They have as low as 50,000, starting from 50,000 onwards. So you could contact them, inshallah, they will give you more details. You could email me. My email ID is ismailsait@gmail.com. Sorry, I forgot to mention it in the end. I think the organizers can type it for everyone. ismailsait@gmail.com. You can mail me, inshallah. Because the telephone, unfortunately, now in my place, I have to come outside my house every time to speak. So best is to reach me by email, inshallah. HDFC Bank, for example, have some Sharia compliant mutual funds or other. Is it halal for us? I don't think HDFC has. They call it. They did tell me also in one other time. But unfortunately, to my limited knowledge, it is not available. There is other fund like Tata, Edika, Reliance, which again, 100% not Sharia compliant, but to the best possible, they are following it. I think even if they have much from Muslims, the main business, yeah, it's best to avoid when we know for sure that the promoting company itself is a interest-based company, then it is best to avoid. Is there a chance for Islamic banking in India? What's the alternative? Seek interest-free business loan. See, Islamic banking as a policy would take time to come into India. As a policy from the government, which in the present scenario, it has become only more tougher. But is interest-free business practices possible? Alhamdulillah, very much possible. If a few of us could join together, pool our limited resources, and then start a business, that is an alternative called Musharaka, which is available. So it is more in our approach and mindset. But interest-free business practices are very much, alhamdulillah, possible. Yeah, sir, will have shared my credit card with my employer. The company has gone under loss and closed my NCLT, the Reddit, has made this as a loan to my account. I was without any remuneration during the lockdown. Can you advise how do I come out of this? Brother, best is you emailed me, brother, because I am not able to get the background of this question. Inshallah, if you email me, I will be able to share my limited knowledge with you on this subject. But per se, credit card is something to be avoided. Though the bankers would say, or even some of us would say, no, if we pay it on time, it is permitted. Best is to avoid. Yeah, next is can we temporarily include a partner for a period of 1 year for investment, promising a fixed amount, promising as profit every month till he is paid back? No. See, promising a fixed amount is interest, which is not permitted. And again, but taking a partner for shorter time, if you and the investor agree, alhamdulillah. But otherwise, giving him a fixed return till the investment is paid back is not permitted. It is constituting to riba. Few things like IPO, equity, or big subjects. Can we get more insights? Again, as you said, it's a big subject. So inshallah, in further sessions, we will talk about that, brother. But due to time factor, I have limited that. Islamic investment company was going good before suddenly faced losses and our people lose their huge investment. There is no guarantee that the people will receive the Yes, brother, what you are mentioning is a very regrettable incident. But I would like to mention here, I'm not referring the name, though it is in the question. See, we get trapped by any company for that matter, whoever is saying, I'm doing halal investment, you come and invest, and I've started giving returns. See, if there is no transparency, first, it is highly doubtful. Because most of these companies wouldn't share how these profits or workings are done. If they are not willing to share, first, don't go with them. Secondly, don't get lured by investments just because they are promising more than somebody else. I've gone there. Best is to study in detail and consult with best known circles who are in this field, and then take the risk. When I use the word risk, after having done all the study, it is the risk that you are taking and for which you will be rewarded. You should be ready to share both the profit and the loss, but the the company or the organization should be transparent to tell you the working. Is it ethical as per Sharia to have different profit percentage and loss percentage for? Yeah, it is ethical, meaning it is permitted so long it is clearly agreed prior to the investment. Not after you get the investment, you pay someone less and you pay more. And then it has to be more, as I said the word earlier, transparency. I have taken investment from A, saying I will share 80-20 or 70-30. Now I'm taking another investment from B, but I'm trying to take advantage of that. Is not a good Islamic practice. Permitted or not is the next question, because if B agrees to the limited different profit ratio than the A, then alhamdulillah, it is the risk he's taking. But is it a good practice for me who's taking an investment to give two different types of returns to two people? I am not transparent. Now, if I am transparent enough to tell the investor, look, I have agreed a different ratio for him for this purpose, but I won't be able to agree for the same for this purpose. And if he is agreeable, alhamdulillah. Share market, short selling, brother, it is not permitted. Again, in short selling, there are different methods that are being in practice. Case to case, it has to be analyzed, but short selling per se, it is not permitted. What are the interest-free Sharia-compliant funding organizations around? I have answered that, brother. not 100% Sharia compliant, but they are available. How can we get tax exemption when we do not have option to invest Sharia-based ELSS mutual fund? What is, see, there are some issues in this where for salaried people, tax concession issues are there. With the available options, as I said, Tata Ethika Fund or on similar lines, you could invest and make use of that. But we shouldn't calculate if I invest in any other insurance or a normal conventional mutual fund, I would get more rebate. Don't compare like that. What is the best option available? Consult with the scholars and, as I said, the professionals whoever name I have mentioned. And if they advise, you go ahead. But agree to whatever is the available rebate. Brother, how many more questions can I take?
Brother, you can proceed with the questions. Inshallah, people seem to be very interested.
Right.
However you're comfortable, you can proceed. Inshallah.
You just send me a WhatsApp in case when you
sure,
want.
I will do because we wanted these people to feel satisfied at the end of the session. Alhamdulillah.
That's great. Yeah. Have you come out of your situation from riba-based investment? Alhamdulillah. Good that you asked me because I forgot to mention. In '97, after meeting and taking a decision, we came out of it in 2002, 2003. It was a longer process, but then Alhamdulillah, we completely settled everything. In fact, our account became an NPA. We went through all the toughest times. As I said, all the testing times. One situation I have to tell everyone, I have to share with everyone. We had committed to the workers' union that we will pay them on time, on a particular date. We had a closure. We took 3 months in front of the Joint Commissioner of Labor. It was a settlement, legal settlement, but we couldn't honor on that date, wherein some of our staff members were locked inside the factory. But Alhamdulillah, we went back to them, we apologized. We said, really, we are not able to raise the funds. And Alhamdulillah, they were kind enough to give us time, for which I always remember and pray for them. And Alhamdulillah, in that given time, Allah helped us and we paid them. So we went through all the, most of the issues, but Allah's help was there at every time. We came out of that, Alhamdulillah. Can we use interest earned from banking, which is unavoidable for paying tax or car insurance, which is must in India but not Islamically? Can we use interest earned? Look, in some of the cases, other than fixed deposit, which you cannot invest because it is purely for the sake of interest, but even for your savings account, even for your current account, or even in some cases, some of your mandatory or regulatory investments that you were referring, there is interest that is coming out. You cannot use it. You could just give it to someone for some other purpose of use to them, but it is not zakat or it is not sadaqah. It is just you are taking it and giving it to someone. Can we have our own health insurance company or alternative society for having protection, economic status? Look, two parts in the question. Health insurance per se, whatever is happening now, life insurance, medical claim, no, we cannot take it, unfortunately, because there is riba factor, there is gharar factor, and there is maisir factor. We cannot take. But for the community, how to design an insurance product for the welfare of the community, very good question. Alhamdulillah, Dr. Sharik Nisar is working on that. I didn't share that slide due to the time factor. I think he called it Trust Mutual or something. Dr. Sharik Nisar, again with the same, you could email shariqnisar@gmail.com. You can ask him. I think he's working on that, and he started in a small model in Mumbai. So that's a good question, and we are yet to talk to him on professional lines on how this can be emulated. I think we can initiate that. Yes, I think Khalid, you can type his email ID shariqnisar@gmail.com. Jazakallah, brother Khalid. Yeah, next question. Alhamdulillah, we have good intention of riba-free business. My company turnover is 8 crores. I have a OD and credit card facility, but I'm using whenever I struck with cash availability. For example, I use my OD 7 days a month. Astaghfirullah, na'udhu billah. brother, do istighfar first. Second, make a niyyah now that I will close this OD, I will come out of riba under whatever circumstances, and then keep asking for Allah's help. You know, many doors will be open. Many doors, inshallah, will be open. But there is no excuse. There is no strategical planning that we can make for a sin which is equivalent to adultery. This is one of the strongest words that have been used in the Quran, is waging war with Allah. And then Prophet says, this is one of the worst sins. So, Naudzubillah, let's first take a strong vow. We will inshallah come out of it. And then how we will come out, let's not think about that. Inshallah, I'm going to come out. Allah help me to come out, and then you will see the options that you are getting with the sincere intentions. If you work, you will get many options, inshallah. Yeah, we are having a pharmaceutical manufacturing market. I think I answered that. It is, yeah, I think once you share the information about the pharmaceutical company, and we can see how we can help you, brother, inshallah. Initially, I've started, I'm going to the question on top. Initially, I've started IT and HR service company with a total of 2 partners. How can I avail interest-free investment to enhance my business? Again, brother, you need to email me for me to see what is the type of business and what is the funding requirement. I have to share another information. I will inshallah be of help to you in terms of giving you some advice. But please don't think that I would be able to provide financial assistance either directly or through someone else. I could best advise you on how you could try and do it on your own. And then if at all investment is required, how do you strategize to mobilize it with these organizations that are available, inshallah. Do you have an online Islamic certificate course? No, for now we don't have, brother, because we did have, inshallah, post Ramadan, we are thinking to start again. But there are a lot of videos that are available. I can share if you send me your mail on specific what you want. I can share some of the videos that are there. Where is it that we can pursue full-time course on Islamic finance? Full-time structured course, I wouldn't advise, because as I said, there are a lot of these online materials that are available with our very good quality and follow-up now. There are colleges around here where you could join if you are looking at doing a full-time course and going overseas also. But looking at people who have returned and seeing them not able to really make use of their time and the investment they made sometimes makes me think twice, asking anyone to go overseas to Malaysia, to elsewhere to study this. Because this is a subject where, as we discuss, brainstorm, you would get suggestions. In Chennai, Preston was having a program, but they couldn't continue it. Inshallah, we can think of similar lines. I request the organizers also to...
Brother, in regards with Ethica, is there any suggestions which you have? Ethica online?
There are many courses. As I said, Ethica is there. There are other programs. I think you can also share them that information.
Okay.
But I wouldn't suggest a full-time college-based curriculum course because of the time and investment that is being lost there.
Yes.
Those who have time, alhamdulillah, they could always do that.
Totally understand. Brother, we have, questions, mashallah, pouring in. So the time, take a lot. So we can take another 5 to 10 questions, which are, very important. Something very different or very important. Other questions, inshallah, we'll try to see how best we can answer.
Right.
One of the questions, which is in Islamic community, some of them are doing Hawala-based businesses. Is the Sharia compliant?
The name itself says Hawala business. How can it be Sharia compliant? Anything that is not done in the normal... Look, brother, there are certain practices that are being done for convenience. They cannot be compliant as per Sharia. We need to stick to the laws of the land, and then we need to follow, even if we gain less, even if our time is more, time taken is more, the return is less, we are paying more charges. The right route is the best route. and the permitted route. Yeah,
Understood.
next question, brother.
Okay, the next question would be, is the Noor Takaful Life Care Usrati investment scheme by Dubai Islamic Bank halal?
No, I don't know, brother. Sorry, my knowledge in that subject is very limited. Might be Dr. Sharik Nisar can answer, but he also about the Dubai Islamic Bank product to answer would be difficult. Yeah, next question.
Okay. Next question would be, I have invested an amount with the promoter on varying profit loss / risk sharing ratio, wherein my investment is returnable after the project is over, meaning the return is not fixed and there is a chance for a loss. Is this halal?
Can you come again with that? Can you show me that question on the screen if possible? Because
It's there. It's mentioned there. You can go down. Brother Abdul Wajid has asked this question. He said that he has invested an amount with the promoter on profit / loss / risk sharing ratio, wherein his investment is returnable after the project is over, meaning the return is not fixed and there is a chance for a loss. Is this halal? Is what is asking.
Alhamdulillah, very much halal because there is a risk and return connected here. But look, apart from these finer points that you are asking and I am giving you a reply, there are a lot other things that go inside the contracts that you have entered and what are the different conditions that are inside. So it is a collective product that has to be looked. So, but from the question, taking the risk on this project is very much permitted. Brother, I'm not able to see the question in the screen. I would request you to also show me the question.
Yeah, the questions you can see here, brother. It'll be there in the Q&A segment. It's just that it gets shuffled as and when the questions come.
Right. Okay. Right.
So there's one question there where a person, one brother has said that I was working as a financial advisor in a share banking firm. I resigned 2 years back and I'm striving to do Sharia investment advisory. Did some courses also, but not getting good income. We don't have much jobs available in Islamic finance industry. What's your advice?
Brother, first, let's not think that we don't have any opportunities. Allah is bountiful. The risk is there. But we need to, again, like the question I asked to Mr. Yawar Beg and he replied, there are some preconditions that we need to remove. Let's not decide this is the business I'm going to do. If we find that there is a difficulty in that, let's go to the next one. And let's look at other alternatives, though it might not sound comfortable or convenient for us, but there could be more barakah in that. So let's look at other opportunities always. I mean, at the same time, not changing businesses. I'm just trying to tell you, looking for other opportunities, though the rewards could be less, though the comforts or convenience could be less than what we are thinking in our mind, but the barakah could be more there, inshallah.
Okay. The next question is, what is the protection provided to the investors in Mudaraba type of contract if Rabbul Mal person makes a mistake and huge losses?
No, I think the question is the other way. Rabbul Mal is the investor. The Mudarib is the person who is doing the business. So Rabbul Mal is the investor. What if the Mudarib misuses the funds? Am I right, Gibran?
No, the question he's mentioned like this, that what is the protection provided to the investors in Mudaraba type of contract if Rabbul Mal personal makes a mistake or a huge loss? I mean, he would have understood it otherwise, but yeah, you could just explain it.
Yeah, no. See, Mudaraba is a transaction where the Rabbul Mal, who is the investor, gives money to the Mudarib or the entrepreneur or manager. First, the Mudarib gives a project and workings. If once the Rabbul Mal gets convinced, he invests. But if genuinely the Mudarib makes a mistake, genuinely as a fraud or the losses occurred due to a genuine mistake, then there are the legal options about that. But otherwise, as per Sharia, if the Mudarib has followed whatever as per the commitments he gave to the investor. For example, I have decided to do a business of buying and selling X product, water bottles or some provisions, and genuine loss has occurred due to the present lockdown or some other factors, some damages, then Rabbul Mal should accept the loss. But if I am siphoning the funds and taking it elsewhere, showing the wrong accounts, then legally I should be taken to task. Yes, next question.
Okay. Next question is, you use the word risk. Isn't like gambling, we would get or we might not get in these investments. So he means to say that risk, isn't it also not predictable sometimes? We might get or we might not get. Isn't it also like gambling is what he's asking?
No. Though you could interpret the same to be this or that, risk and reward in terms of halal manner is different. If you want to use the same word, I'm gambling, I don't know what will be the reward end of 6 months, I wouldn't mind. But gambling per se refers to an unlawful activity. Gambling, when we are saying, is playing cards or casinos or things like that, which are more unlawful. First, you cannot use the same meaning to both. They have different meanings based on their usage. Of course, risk, I wouldn't know in 3rd month or 5th month or end of the year when the business is going to tell me how much he has made profit or loss. For that, if you want me to use the word gamble, alhamdulillah, I don't mind. But gambling here is referred to an unlawful activity where share market today, there is some amount of gambling or more amount of gambling. We don't know why the stocks are going up and down. We don't know what is the reason behind. There is somebody who is just betting, who's just buying and selling for a different purpose. So the terminologies are different and their use also are different. Next.
Yes, sir. So last 3 questions, inshallah. Islamic credit cards in Gulf are permitted to use. They are marketed as Sharia based and interest free and profit module. So what is your suggestion on this?
I really don't know about any particular banks, particular Islamic credit card, but so long as their scholars are saying it is permissible and we have a genuine reason for us to take that, alhamdulillah, that should be okay. But again, let me not forget the need and greed factor in everything. Why do I need a credit card now? Why can I not sustain with a debit card? Is a question one needs to question themselves and inshallah do istikhara and then decide.
MashaAllah,
So
very interesting.
factor is something important. Yeah.
MashaAllah. Okay. So the next question is, what's your opinion on taking bank guarantees as my project clients ask for performance bank guarantees?
So in case you are paying 100% amount and taking a guarantee, then it is a product which is permitted. See, if bank guarantees are given either as a loan, against a loan or overdraft, which I said is to be avoided. But I could take a bank guarantee, investing the 100% amount and then taking a guarantee, which is permitted. So any form of debt from an interest-based institution is to be avoided. But we cannot avoid a bank. I have an account with HDFC. I need to take a draft. I need to take a bank guarantee, open an LC. 100% margin is paid, and the bank opens an LC. All these are permitted.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question would be, 1 second. Can we use insurance claim for vehicle accidents? Is it permissible?
See, again, this is a very, very critical question that you have made as the last question.
Yes.
Why? Because first, insurance for vehicle is mandatory. You don't have option. I said earlier, life insurance we could avoid, or medical insurance we could avoid. We keep tawakkul in Allah and we work. And there are alternatives that for the welfare of the community and for the workforce, what Sharik Nisar is doing, which I mentioned earlier. But using the insurance claim that is got, which is sometimes many times more than the insurance amount, is a very critical and doubtful question, brother. Because I have thought on my own when my car met with an accident, when I got the claim of double the amount. But you see, it is permissible, and again, it is to be discussed, with more details. Because look, I have a vehicle for 3 years where I paid a premium of more than 60 to 70,000 rupees, and my claim that I have raised is 1 lakh on the 3rd year. For first 2 years, I didn't meet with any accident. 3rd year amount was 1 lakh, but I have paid 60,000. So that 60,000 is very much permitted. But what is that 40,000 more? I think we could take scholar-specific opinions on this, inshallah.
Okay, sir. Sir, I wanted to close, but I think we have 2 more questions which might be beneficial for the people.
Yeah.
One person says, CDS stands for credit default swaps, where it's mitigating your risk in case there might not be a repayment of loans. from the borrower due to reasons such as bankruptcy. Is this permissible?
The CDS, oh, okay. The question is CDS stands for credit default swaps, where in its mitigation your risk, in case there might not be a repayment of. Again, brother, this is a question which needs background information. Per se, anything like a loan amortization or something like that, I'm not able to get the background. So once you send me with a small write-up, if I'm not able to answer, I could get it from better informed people, inshallah. I'm unfortunately not able to answer this.
Okay, sir. Next would be, is there any Islamic online crowdfunding platform available yet?
Not in India, because we have a lot of regulatory issues there, but elsewhere in Singapore, Malaysia, and they have a lot of crowdfunding mechanisms. Here a lot of RBA regulations are there, but Rehaber can help us to answer this, because they work very closely with their auditors who advise on these mechanisms. So I could check and let you know, but to my knowledge, there is nothing that is legally permitted here.
Finally, sir, a person who's invested in a company, who's a shareholder or a Mudaraba investor, can he take salary from the company and profits also?
No, see, I answered this earlier. The Mudarib cannot take salary because he has agreed to take his reward as profit. The Rabbal Mal cannot take salary also because he is invested amount and he is to take the entire risk for his investment, either by way of profit or the loss. The salary doesn't come here. Hope it is clear.
Okay, brother. Jazakallah khairan for your patience and for your valuable advice and answering each of these questions with so much of passion and interest, mashallah. I hope everyone here, all the attendees, have enjoyed the session and feel boosted enough to get into the entrepreneurship program in an interest-free manner, as well as start a business in an interest-free manner. And we hope that with mashallah, with Brother Ismail Sait's motivation and passion, all of you feel boosted enough to go back in a more Sharia compliant manner and more disciplined manner, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, brother, for your time and for your valuable advice. Barakallah feek. We'll close the session now. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.